Johannesburg, South Africa. Yeah, I was born in 1966 in Soweto. I'm the last born of about 6 children. Went to school in Soweto. Initially, among other careers that I wanted to follow, I wanted to be a teacher at some point. At some point, I wanted to go to a preschool. At some point, I wanted to be in theatre. But for some reason, that I ended up in photography. I studied photography at Alexander Art Center in Alexander Township in the early 1990s. When I started in the early 90s, during the violence in the townships, and in the mainstream medias of South Africa, the images that were showing were images of violence, of the so-called black on black. And even if I acknowledge that they were part of that violence happened in the township, but as well, life at the same time was normal. It was not only the violence that we're seeing in the media. And in a way myself, I did not recognize myself in those violent images that we used to see then. And it's then that I decided to dedicate my life or my photography career in documenting the ordinary life, the ordinary everyday life of our people in the townships, in the villages, and in other parts of the continent. In as much as there were those images of violence that used to happen, that we used to see in the mainstream media, but at the same time, life was going on in the township. People were going to the church, people were going to the shebins, people were going to wherever. So in a way, life was going on. And then I decided to come with an alternative images from those that we're seeing in the media. So to realize that I'm a photographer, I don't know. I mean, it's through over time of practice, of getting experience and practicing, that one realized that he's a photographer. But I guess everybody can be a photographer. It depends what kind of photography that you're talking about. I don't necessarily have a certain style that I follow. I'm a minimalist when I work. I work with with one camera, and I still use black and white film as well. And I like to experiment a lot with the business. I like to experiment with the light as well. And like you're saying that everybody has got his own different style, but when I photograph, I don't necessarily think of the style. I think of the moment that I'm in, that I'm photographing. And then the idea of a style, maybe it's something that develops over time. One favorite photographer is Santum Fouquet, Ernest Cole, David Goldblatt, Peter Makubane, Alf Kumalo, Len Kumalo, and the drum photographers of the 50s, 60s era, W. Gene Smith, Kaita Bresson. You know, myself, when I photograph, and at the end, when I put the work out there, whether in a gallery or museum, people take different things from them. And as soon as the work one is out there, I have no control what the people will like and what the people will say. So I'm open to criticism as well, whether people will like or don't like. It's up to the individual as well, how they react to the images that I've made. I think photography is in a safe hands. In South Africa and the continent as well, because there are even younger generation, or not even younger generation, younger photographers who are doing amazing works, both here in South Africa and within the continent, or in the world in general as well. People are coming up with new aesthetics, ways of looking and ways of dealing with their own issues using photography as well. So yeah, photography is still going to be there for a long time. I have a normal day like everybody else. Sometimes I don't photograph every day. I photograph on certain days, and certain days I don't photograph. If I don't, then sometimes I'm in a dark room, or I'm with friends, or sometimes I'm teaching photography, but not all the time. And sometimes I'm traveling as well, so I don't have necessarily a static, normal every day. It's not been an easy journey. Like I said, I started this in the early 90s, and to develop up to, this is a work of over 25 years. So there were days and then had good days, and the days when the days were not so good as well. But overall, it's been a good journey as well. I was fortunate when I was starting early in my career that I was invited to show in other countries, both in the continent and in Europe and America and in Asia as well. So it's been a good journey, but it's a good journey with its own challenges. I've always been photographing black and white for my own personal work, so hence I'm showing black and white. I sometimes photograph in color, but when I do that for when I do weddings, birthdays, or photograph the frame. But for my own personal work, I choose to photograph in the medium of black and white. Like the photographers that I've mentioned to you earlier on that inspired me, they were photographers who were working in black and white. Yeah, for an example, that I need to enlarge this body of work of what is ours. I have plans to visit a few countries, and then also there are quite a number of projects that I'm planning to do just after this exhibition. I can just say, this for me, as human beings, we should be careful when we're given opportunities, but sometimes we tend to rise on those opportunities. So opportunities can either destroy you or build you as well. So me, this opportunity to show a certain plan that says to me that I need to work and work more and work harder as well. So I'm going to continue to work, to photograph, especially within the continent, and facilitate the idea of photographic workshops. Because other things that I do workshops within the continent as well, and I like showing in the continent as well. I've shown in different countries. I've shown in Europe, I've shown in America, I've shown in Japan, I've shown in Kenya, I've shown in Cameroon, I've shown in Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Union Island, in many countries. I've shown in Ethiopia. I'm working on a project called Salt. I'm looking at the salt production. It's in Mozambique. So it means I'm working on this water in Mozambique at the same time working on the salt. This service is called Water is Ours. So I'm working on that and then also on the salt in Mozambique. When the work is on the wall in an exhibition space, my take is that different people take different things, they react to the work differently as well. So different people will take different things as well. So when it's there, I don't want to say to them, take this is my intention, but it's for them to absorb the way they want to absorb it and feel it the way they want to feel it as well.
To be with you.
All right.
The interview is done.
No, okay.
Yeah, it's been nice having a one-to-one.
This was in Natal in Ngome. It was very early in the morning in 2001. And this is the same place, but it's a different year, a year earlier. But on this tour, it was in one ceremony and one day. And this is from the series that I was talking about, Bridges. And these two also, these are from the Bridges series as well. But if you move from particularly this one up to that one, these are from my series called Emakaya. Emakaya is a Zulu word, plural word for home, for homes, villages. This is the work that I did in the different villages here in South Africa as well. And then and these are two also from Emakaya, baking bread and Izija. And from this particular angle, from this side, and you can see this one, this from the hostel interiors, all these images from this side. It's from the interior series. These are in hostels in Soweto, in particular Dube Hostel and Ninesfield Hostel. This one in particular, this one and that one over there, from the women's hostel in Alexander Women's Hostel. And this is one of my favorite. It's called I Love You. I like the way it's been, the way you draw the shape and use the vinyls as well to decorate. Okay. See, this one in particular and that one, this was photographed in New York. And also the two dancers here. This is in this is in Central Park in New York, and it was photographed in I think it was 1999. Both this one and the tribute to the ancestors of the Middle Passage.